Hey, what's up guys? Raman here, Monster Gadgets. I hope you're all having a wonderful day wherever you might be. Thank you so much for joining me. And today we're gonna do our first car wash on the Tesla Model 3 Performance. Let's take a look at it, give these guys a view of how dirty this is right now.
Yep.
I see some fingerprints. Who did this? Who did this?
Not me.
Who did that? I see some fingerprints right there. One of you kids, man. You guys did it. So basically, it drizzled just a little bit a few days ago, and just enough to get the car dirty. As you guys can see, the water prints on it, on the paint as well. So what we're going to show you is, I do have my helpers today. This is Ayan. This is Zaina.
Inside the last video.
Yeah, so you guys were in a couple different videos. So they're going to be my cameraman today. So I'm going to show you how to do a quick car wash with a 2-bucket system. But first, let me show you the product we're going to be using. This is one of my favorite products to use.
And
this
it's not
is
sponsored, right?
Correct, this is not a sponsored video. These are just products that I bought myself. This is a no rinse wash and shine by NO or no, whatever you're gonna call it. This is pretty simple to use. This is such a big container, but you only use about 1 to 2 ounces or a cap full per 2 gallons. So we're gonna be using 2 different buckets. These are 5-gallon buckets. So we'll fill these up and we'll only put a couple of those capfuls in there. 1 bucket is going to be used for having clean soap, and one's going to be used for having the dirty wash. The one thing I do want to note on both of these, we are going to use what they call grit guards. This basically helps to get the dirt through any small debris, things like that. So that way when you go to redip your sponge or your glove or whatever you're using, it doesn't come back onto the cloth and back onto your car. So basically this is a barrier between the dirt and the clean water. So we're gonna have one of these in each basket, so that way we don't scratch up the paint on the car. We're also gonna use a spray bottle just to spray the water a little bit onto the car. You never wanna do anything on the car that's gonna be dry. So when we first do our first rinse, we're gonna use a spray bottle and a mat, which I'm gonna show you guys in a second, just to kind of get the dirt off before we start using actual scrubbing techniques, if you will. All right, so we've got our soap that we're using. After the soap, we're going to be, actually not after the soap, but while we're using the soap, we're going to be using this glove mat. This is by Chemical Guys, which, by the way, they make some awesome products, and you can probably keep it a little further because I don't think you have to be that close to it. Okay. Yeah, like that.
This is not sponsored.
This is yes, this is not, none of this is sponsored. This is basically a glove like this that you can put on. It helps to keep everything easy to use, basically. Or if you want to, you don't have to put it on, you can just use it as a normal sponge. But this works really well. They give you a resealable bag so you can put it in there after it's dry, and that way you don't get debris on it for the next time you use it. Then we're going to use, again, Chemical Guys, I'm sorry. These are large towels. These are used basically microfiber type of cloth, and you've got one side that's a little bit finer than the other, and we're going to use this to basically wash, dry, and do everything in the car with that. Then we've got hybrid wax. This is going to be used after we wash the car. The great thing about this is not only can you use it on your paint, but you can also use this on glass, on your rims. This goes everywhere, and it basically creates a nice layer between the paint and outside things like rain, things like that. So this works really well. For the rims, or not rims, for the tires, we're going to use this tire shine. This comes in a spray bottle, so you basically put that spray bottle in there, and it's got a small applicator. Keep that a little bit far, Jan, because we're too close. A little applicator to use along with it. And just, I forgot to mention, the wax does come with a separate towel itself. All these products I'm talking about today, I'll go ahead and link them in the description below. You can buy them off Amazon. They're fairly cheap, and they last a long time. So now that we've got the products out of the way, let's go ahead and get the water filled up in the buckets, get the spray bottle filled up, and then we'll go ahead and start the wash. All right guys, now we've got both of the buckets filled with water. So the 2-bucket system, basically you're gonna use one bucket for clean water, and the second bucket is gonna have the soap in it. So again, this is about 1 ounce for 2 gallons of water. So since this is a 5-gallon bucket, you can show the bucket. This, by the way, I just bought from Home Depot. It was like $3 per bucket. So anywhere you can buy a 5-gallon bucket will be fine. We're basically gonna add 1.5 cap full of solution in here. So like that, and another half.
And then for the other one?
Other one's gonna be clean water. So that's why you have a 2-bucket system. One with soap, one with clean water to rinse off your mat when you need it. So now that we've got that in there, what I like to do is start off with just a spray bottle. This is just an ordinary spray bottle filled with water. And we're gonna start off with the top. And all I'm gonna do is basically just spray this on. And enough to get it wet, because again, you never wanna do your sponge on a normal
No, it'll be easier to do it this way.
So we'll spread this on. We'll just get the whole glass top. Alright, well, then we got that done. I'm gonna grab the sponge and we'll just use the clean water. Just dip that in there, get that wet.
We're gonna use it as a cloth or sponge.
Right now, just as a cloth.
Okay.
Later on, we'll use it as a sponge. So since we already got the water on there, all I'm gonna do is just kind of glide this along to get the initial dirt off of it. And just full motion like that. If you're gonna step back then, you can show them behind the car.
Yeah, behind the car's gonna be
That way, it's just getting the
this. He used the cloth on.
wet.
This is
Aren't
the
you
one
just kind of
sprayed.
drying it?
Well, I'm just lightly
Spreading the water.
going around it with a wet cloth, just to get it basically conditioned for a wash.
And I think it was conceived.
And then we're gonna use the soap method next to get the soap.
Yeah, I was supposed to say you need the middle.
Alright, now that we've got that, look at that dirt.
Oh wow, it's a lot.
We're gonna
That's
go
dirty.
ahead. It is dirty, so now we're gonna put it in the dirty one.
And then when we're done, we can see all the dirt that's
We're gonna
collected.
mix up the soap that we put in earlier.
Oh, whoops.
You don't mind putting your hand inside so much water?
And the key, no I don't. And the key here is to do it by sections of the car. So you don't want to get the whole car wet and do it all at once, because you want to do it a little bit at a time, and I'll show you
The
guys
water's
why.
gonna dry out too.
Now that we've got the wet part, and for the most part I can tell that I've got the car all wet where I want it to. Now we will.
Are you breaking it up?
No, I'm not breaking it.
He's just lifting it.
Just do this. You want to see the inside from the glass?
Oh, that'd be so cool.
This way we're working all the dirt off the glass. And I'm gonna go to the other side, so I can get the other side.
A lot of dirt yet?
Yeah, because we did it pre-soak, remember?
Oh yeah.
We'll get this. Back. Now that the soap is on there, we're gonna go ahead and rinse this out in this clean water.
I don't see any of the dirt in there yet.
Nope, that's right now it's not too dirty.
Yeah. Look at the windows down there. It's gonna be really dirty.
And do one more rinse.
Super satisfying hearing the noises.
Like that.
Yeah.
Just look at all the soap and residue off.
I'm looking from the inside from you.
Alright, here, back up a little bit. Let's go around this way. Now, this is the way I do it. This is not the golden way or probably the best way to do it. If you guys use a different method that works better, or you have some feedback for me, of course, leave it in the comment section below. But this is how I've done my washes with the bucket, no rinse system. Now that we've got that, I'm gonna put this here real quick. I'm gonna grab one of my microfiber large detailing towels, and we're basically gonna grab, whoops.
Oh.
If you drop it, don't ever use it because it probably gets debris on it. So luckily we have a 6-pack. We probably will use about 3 of them, so we've got some extras. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and dry off the top now.
So what's so special about this towel?
So this towel is one of the towels that will grab moisture really well, the way it's made. So it holds a lot of water. If you guys take a look at the glass real quick right here, I basically just went through it one time and it's dry. Plus, it doesn't scratch the surface the way it's made.
Clean, wet.
And the best thing to do, which I didn't follow my own rule here, is if you put these through the wash first, it will get off any like fuzzies that are on it. If you use them brand new, you tend to sometimes have, like with any towel, some fuzzies behind it. So if you do buy these brand new, like I just did, put them through the wash once. That way you get all the fuzzies off of them, and it will give you a better washing experience on your car. Be sure to only go over the clean areas that you washed. Make sure you don't go over any dirt areas because this towel is obviously clean, and you want to keep it that way and only cover areas that you rinsed out. So again, going back to my original point of doing this by sections and staying within that section for each of the steps that you do. If your car is heavily soiled, meaning for example after snow or something or dirt, you do not want to use this method because the more debris you have on your car, the more chances of it being scratched. So you got to be really careful if you've got a car with a lot of debris on it. So then if you show from here, the glass is basically spotless. Let's take a look at it in the light, like that.
Oh.
And this, I didn't put the wax on yet, which we're going to later on. Of course, we're just gonna dry the whole car. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and do that for the remainder of the car, again, section by section, and then we'll come back so that way we finish up the car, all right? Alright guys, now that we've got the full car cleaned, washed from the outside, we'll go ahead and use the wax now. All we're going to do is make sure you shake this before you start using it. And you don't need to apply too much of this. You basically want to do a 2x2 area, spray it on the surface, wipe it down with a microfiber cloth, and then flip the cloth over, use the dry side to kind of buff it out. So we'll start with the hood here. And I'm just gonna spray, again, kind of a 2x2 area. And just so you know, this, here, let me see. This wax can be used in the sun or in the shade, but a good rule of thumb is if you can touch the car and hold your hand there to it, then that means the surface is not too hot. So it's better not to use it on a hot surface. This is safe for both. I personally would never use it on a hot surface, but if your car is cold enough to where you can put your hand to it, then you're good to go with this. So. All right, let me go ahead and spray this on. And you don't want to spray too much area at one time. So just a little bit like that. I'm just gonna do the hood, and then move on to the other areas.
What does the wax do?
Basically, creates a sealant between the paint and the air, correct? So that way it helps give it a little bit more of a shine. And also, when it rains, it tends to get the bubbles rain off a lot quicker without leaving a markup. So it's kind of a win-win. Some people like doing this in circular motion. It really doesn't matter, in my opinion. As long as you cover all the areas you're supposed to cover, with the wax to give it a nice polishy finish. So now that I did the wet part, I'll go ahead and flip this over. Oh, so slippery from the wax. We'll use the dry part to buff it out. You can use 2 different towels if you want, but I personally just use this one big enough because it's big enough to flip it over and just flip it out that way. Not a lot of pressure needed, just a light buff, and you're good to go. We're ready to move on. So we'll go ahead and do this for the whole car. Again, this can be used on glass as well, which will help seal that as well. So we'll use it on the glass basically all over the car, and then we'll do the wheels and the rims next. All right guys, the car is now all clean. I just pulled it out so I can show you guys what it looks like in the sun. It is basically spotless. You guys can take a look. This took me about an hour and a half to do, and considering it wasn't too dirty to begin with, that's pretty decent, I think. I probably took longer than I would have normally, but I'm happy with the results. Looks nice and clean. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of it. Hopefully this video was helpful if you're washing your Tesla for the first time or learning how to do a 2-bucket system and manually wash your car. So let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.